So as you can see here, I've got a lot of baker eggs that I picked up in New Mexico when I was there last time. I picked these up at the Spanish Stirrup Geolapidary Museum at the foot of Rockhound National State Park. The proprietor there is named Chris. Very helpful guy, very knowledgeable. He told me to expect a, I guess if you want to call it a hit rate on this, of about 30% of them will have something in them, and out of that, only 1 out of 10 will have a significant amount of red. I've had a lot better rate of luck than that, but I don't know how these are going to work out. So what we're going to do today is we're going to cut a couple of these. I don't know if we're going to get to these big guys here quite yet, but we're going to cut them open. We'll go through them, and I think what we're going to do is we're just going to keep cutting until we hit something, or until my toddlers wake up. It's nap time right now. Yeah, so here we go. So I'm going to take a second here to show you how these can look when they're cut. There's a little bit of variation between the two. This is like ultimately what you're going for. A big one that has some really cool agate banding in it. It's got that quartz crystal center, and this is very sizable for a baker. I was super happy when I cut this open. Other things you can find in here, you can find geodes with a little bit of red in there. The red is ultimately the color you're looking for with the bakers. As you can see here, a lot of the stuff has like mini eggs in them that haven't quite formed all the way. Kind of the same thing here. You'll see a lot of waterline stuff like that. You'll see some that have this white substance in the middle of it. I'm still trying to figure out what it is. I think it's white perlite. I could be mistaken. It is removable with a textile gun. It's kind of the consistency of clay almost. This is like a perfect example of what you're looking for. This is your prototypical baker egg. It's got the agate banding, it's got red in there. This is what people think of when they hear baker Thunderegg. But then you can also get weird patterns like this, like the weird smiling parrot or Skeksis from the, if there's any Dark Crystal fans out there, right? Here's another one, kind of came out like a heart. You know, there's a lot of variation in these. Some of them have a little bit of agate, some don't. Some don't even have any red. This is just straight up quartz crystals, but it kind of came out in this little starfish, Star of David type pattern. So anyways, you can kind of get anything. Some of them don't even have anything in them. As anybody who cuts open rocks knows, it's pretty much a gamble. But this is kind of the range of what we can expect. And we're gonna cut some stuff open, and you guys will see the same time as me if we get anything good. Awesome. Okay, this is the first one I've picked out for us today. You can see there's some sort of pattern in there. I think we're going to try to just coax that out of there a little bit, maybe cut a ½ inch off there. I think that'll expose whatever happens to be in there. You know, the technique to cutting these is you want to try to identify the layers. As you can see, there are pretty distinguishable layers in there, and then you just want to just cut perpendicular to that. So we'll probably cut it about that angle right there. All right, let's give it a shot. So here's the results for our first one. There you go. I mean, there's something in there. It's decent. I'm sorry I'm in my garage, there's not a ton of light. I'd say that's first of all, we're beating the odds by there being something in there, but you know, besides that, it's a little below average. There's a little bit of red in there. It's a little cracked, but I mean, it'll polish up nice. But anyways, that's the first one. We're gonna move up here. We're gonna try this one next. So as you can see, there's a little bit of red poking out there. Our options are, our chances are pretty good here. We have to identify the top of the piece, which, I don't know, let me figure fiddle around with this for a little bit, and I think this is probably it right there. You can see the lines and those bubbles right there. So I think probably what we'll do is just bisect it longwise like this, and see what we get. All right, here's the second one. I moved it up under my shop light here, so at least we can get a better look at it. So it's a little something in there, isn't there? It's not a whole lot. Generally, you know, I mean, this happens quite a bit with baker agates, or baker eggs, I'm sorry. But you got some red agate there, and then I'm not sure what the gray lining is. I've come across those in a couple of them. Your guess is as good as mine. Some expert could weigh in there. But anyways, there's the second one. Okay, the third one's going to be a bit of an experiment because I'm pretty sure, like you can see how the lines are kind of going that way, but if we cut it that way, we're going to get a very thin rock. And so I'm going to go against the rules here, and I'm actually going to cut it lengthwise right through there, so we can have a rock about this size. It might not be the right way to do it, but I think that if we tried just cutting it down the middle here, we would just get too small of a rock. But you can see a little window right there, so it's a good sign something's in there. So let's see. Okay, here we go. This is our one we just cut. Kind of an unconventional cut. We'll see if it pans out for us. As you can see, there's a little bit of red in there. Not a whole lot though, it's still pretty. But like I said, you're just gonna find a lot of them like this. Okay, on to the next one. Okay, here's our next one. I think we're gonna do the same thing, just to maximize surface area. We're going to cut right along this middle line here. Okay. Okay, here's our next one. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Turn that upside down to get that accurate. Nice water line in there. Looks like we got the cut right. Water line looks pretty even. Not your typical looking baker, but it's still pretty nice. I'll take it. Okay, so this next one is gonna kind of be tricky. So as you can see, I think probably, this is probably the top right here. But I gotta figure out a way to cut it, because you like to try to keep the ends whole, or you know, the cuts whole. Like I can cut it around this way, you know, maybe turn it this way to cut out that corner, but then this whole bottom piece is kind of broken off. So but I think it's just something I'm gonna have to deal with. I don't think there's a way around it with this rock. But yeah, I'm gonna go with this as the top, and I'm just gonna cut it this way. All right, here's our piece we just cut. You can see there's some red veins in there. Maybe made that cut a little bit on the diagonal, but I think it's okay. I was just trying to get the cleanest cut I could, but let's see what we got in here. It's not bad actually. It's a little irregular, but that's a pretty unique looking baker right there. That's pretty nice. I'm pretty happy with that. That's gonna go in the polish up pile for sure. So there's one half of it. Here's the other half. I definitely think this first half is better. I could tell that there was gonna be something inside of this one just because the saw was really bogging down when it was going through almost the entire rock. And I guess this is why. That's cool. This is gonna be the winner so far. So I've got 2 more on tap for you, and they're going to be a little bit bigger. This is going to be a long one. It might be a double egg, actually. You can kind of see there's like 2 nodules there almost. And you can see a window there, so there's probably something in there. So I think what I'm going to do here is just cut right down that ridge. We should get a pretty decent looking stone. I'm going to try to end the cut just to the side of that window. Just because it's a cleaner look if you can get at least 1/2 without the, I guess you can say, the intake portal in it. But we'll give it a shot. I have high hopes for this. Okay, so here's our bigger one, as you can see, kind of compared to the sizes of the other ones. I did end up making, ooh, a little sneak peek there. I did end up making the cut right on the side of that induction point. So we'll see how it turns out. Here's the big reveal. Oh, that's pretty cool. So as we expected, it's a double egg. Got one here, got some terminated crystal growth actually in there. Pretty neat. And then over here, a more solid one. That's really beautiful. I'm happy with that. And over here, a lot more crystals in there. Looks like there's a fracture going down the middle of it. We do have a water line in there too. Pretty nice. Okay, one more after this. Okay, so this is going to be the last one. I think it's pretty self-explanatory, you know, which way this is going. So I'm just going to cut it down this top here and try to get the most bang for my buck. Hopefully this turns into something. If it doesn't, I've had duds that look like this before. Sometimes these red ones are duds. If it's a dud, I'll probably cut one more. All right, let's see. So here's our final one, guys. Pretty cool. It's got a really big center in that, just some quartz, but it's pretty. I'm finding that generally the bigger ones do have a lot more of just the clear quartz in them. Very pretty. No red. I mean, there's a little corner of red right down there. But anyways, I hope this is informative to you guys as far as if anybody had any interest in collecting bakers or kind of wondering what to expect. I think that these two and then that littler one was probably the best of the day. So anyways, there's not a whole lot of rough out there. When you do come across it, you're gonna pay a premium. My recommendation is if you're ever in the Deming, New Mexico area, which is about an hour west of Las Cruces, New Mexico, go to the Spanish Stirrup Geolapidary Museum. Chris has just piles of this stuff outside, $4 a pound. You can't beat that deal. I spent a lot. Next time I go back down, I'll spend a lot again. It's great stuff to open. There's not a lot of it out there, and it's highly sought after. I hope everybody has a great day, and stay tuned to the next video whenever I do it, or whenever my kids let me do it more appropriately. See you later.